The Torah tells us that the king and the people of a place called Midian were very much afraid of the Jewish people, the Hebrews, when they came out of Egypt, because they had overcome many other well-formed armed forces, and they were victorious in every instance. The king of Midian, his name was Balak. He started studying, investigating what really happened. And he decided that the strength of the Hebrew people was really in a spiritual sense, not in the effectiveness of their armed forces. So therefore, he went to a man by the name of Bilam. He was a Gentile prophet, sent a mission to him with a petition that he should curse the Jewish people. And in this manner, he would weaken their decision. Well, this man, Bilam, replied and he said that he can only say what God will tell him to do. So therefore, he asked them to wait overnight. And during the night, God appears to him and he says to him, if these people have come and asked you that you should curse the Jewish people, don't go with them. The following morning, he told the committee that had come to visit him that he cannot do what the king Balak wants. When Balak heard that, he thought maybe the emissaries he sent were not of sufficient importance. And that's why Bilam replied that way. And he sent a commission of a higher rank the following day to this man, Bilam. Bilam once again said, I cannot speak except what God will tell me to do. Stay overnight. That night, God appears to him, and God says to him, if these people have come and asked you to curse the Jewish people, go with them. Well, the following morning, this Bilam tells him what the response of the Almighty was, and he goes with a commission, and he goes to Midian, and there, after many episodes, he tries to curse the Jewish people, but God puts other words in his mouth, and he starts blessing the Jewish people. Of course, the king Balak is amazed. I asked you to curse the Jewish people, and instead you go and bless them. No more. I don't want to have anything more to do with you. Then the Torah says that since Bilam saw that God favored the Jewish people, he started blessing the Jewish people on his own, without God telling him what to do. And one wonders, how come Bilam, who really hated the Jewish people, how come he would go and start blessing the Jewish people? Well, in essence, the curse or the blessing of Bilam was very effective, because our tradition says that he was actually comparable to Moshe, the great leader of the Jewish people, Moses, who took the Hebrews out of Egypt. Why? Because the Jewish tradition says that maybe the Gentile world will come before God and say, had you given us a prophet as important as Moses, maybe we would have chosen a different path in this world. So therefore he sent them this man Bilam. So he was very effective. But our question still remains, how come Bilam started blessing the Jewish people without God telling him to do so? A people that I say he hated. Maybe Bilam thought something else. Bilam thought, you know why the Jewish people are so strong? Why they're so effective? Because they just come out of oppression. Because they had difficult times, slavery in Egypt. After centuries of slavery, finally they're free and they're fired up. But let's do something else. Let's give them abundance. Let's give them riches. Will they still be like that? Will they still say that everything comes from God? Or will they say in the biblical expression, Kochi ve'otzem yadi asali et hachayil hazeh? It's actually my strength, my arm that produced all the benefits that I have, that I am invincible. He thought something very tricky. Maybe the Jewish people were so strong and convinced in their mission because they were suffering. They had a history of suffering. But if they would acquire riches, if they would have the good life, maybe they would stop believing in this God that actually everything happens because of themselves. I think we have all read or somehow heard about great fortunes that after a couple of generations are simply lost. I read, for instance, of people that won the lottery in the United States. Periodically, there are hundreds of millions of dollars that one can win in a lottery. Of course, the odds are terrible. It's almost impossible to do. But somebody wins, and in some cases, after a while, the people that just obtained millions turn out to be poor. They lose their money. Wrong investment, God knows what. Maybe they think they're so lucky that everything they're going to do is going to be great. So riches, easy come, easy go. When you become suddenly rich, maybe that gives you the wrong motivation to follow in life. Be very careful. You change jobs, you're doing better. You have a new business and it's going very well. You have to learn how to administer the material goods that you obtain, the riches that suddenly come your way. You have to remember that you have to share with others. You have to remember the days when you didn't have it and make sure that the money, the material objects don't rule you. You should be the one that should rule over them.